I'm gay.
I am transgender.
I'm a slithery little sneaky snake.
Swanky.
And this is Hulk.
And this is the JH Podcast.
I think that's so funny. I might slither a little snicker snack.
I hit the stage and leave with money that's like sticker.
You don't think that's funny?
She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flicker. Bill, I'm in the mood.
Listen, and I'm okay with not knowing and not getting everybody's humor. Can I plug in now?
You're supposed to be. Oh, you're gonna plug in both? Okay.
Yeah. This is how we.
I mean,
do
we
it.
can hear each other.
That's right. We have new production.
Yeah,
up in the studio
of it all. Right.
We
That's
keep
what you're
growing and expanding and getting bigger and larger
and longer
and thicker. And we come to you uncut. I mean,
oh my God, that is really detailed.
All right,
about
how you
our
feeling?
Podcast. I feel great. How are you feeling?
I'm tired, but I'm here.
I can see it.
I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna do it.
You know, I give it. I can
get it done.
I can do it.
Okay. Let's get it done.
I feel like I'm getting old for this tired old look. No, that's a quote. That's a quote from Showgirls, the movie with Elizabeth Berkley.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Showgirls?
Never even heard of it.
You're kidding.
When you say Showgirls, I think about Las Vegas and
no, it is
throwing
about.
their legs up
You've
with that
never
big thing
seen
up top.
Showgirls?
I'm not that gay.
It's not a gay movie.
Oh no, I don't know.
I mean, it became a cult classic, but it's not a gay movie.
So it's a gay movie.
So let me give you a quick 30 seconds and then we'll get into the show.
All right, hit me.
Elizabeth Berkley, you know who that is? Jessie from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, okay. Well, I know
Once
Jessie.
she was done with that, she just kept getting typecast, and she's like the straight A student and the student government. Well, she got her first feature film, which was called Showgirls. And in that show, it's very cheesy, it's very campy. She shows full nudity.
Oh.
And America said no. So it was a flop at the theaters. The writing is very dramatic. The acting is very over the top.
Like Scary Movie?
Yeah, like Scary Movie. And then over the years, it became a major hit in the underground.
Got it.
To the point where they've made parodies of it. People they'll do special screenings of it, and people know all the lines and yell it at the screen. Because it's so that quote, she goes, on second thought, I'm getting tired for that horrible look. And she flips her away from her dressing room, one of the showgirls. And they have like a legit actress, Gina Gershon, who's like a legit actress. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the joke is that at any given point, everybody involved with the project is making their worst absolute career mistake. Or the biggest mistake of their career, I should say.
Okay.
So we will take a look at that before the next podcast, so you can then give your opinion on it.
Yeah, so I can let you know if I like it or not. Okay. Is it a yay or a nay?
All right.
But all right. Well, thank you for that 30 seconds. So what else is going on in the world? So Tina Turner. Oh, that was so sad.
Yeah. Okay, I'm running through a whole list of things in my head where, okay, you have to be gentle when you get in front of this microphone.
Oh, I know where this is going.
You have to stay with ratings. You have to be sweet enough that iHeartRadio is not going to decline.
Shout out to iHeartRadio.
We were able to get back in, but at the beginning when we started doing this, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They said, no.
iHeart said no.
They said your podcast does not align with the values of iHeartRadio.
Yeah, so, they have all those. Mm-hmm.
So, but we were able to get back in there. So, no, in all seriousness, I heard something that struck me recently when they were reporting on her death. They said her tragic death.
Tragic death?
She was 83 years old. Mm. And I know the history, I know the upbringing, the background, the rise to fame, the downfall. Heck, I know about the 6 lanes of traffic and the white suit.
The white suit.
Yeah.
I just need to stay.
Yeah. So, and we get it, and I sympathize and the whole nine. So I've studied her journey, her rise, her downfall, and then her rise again. The woman is 83 years old. Mm-hmm. The woman has provided enough to this planet. The woman just had a husband because both her children were gone already. And they say as a parent, you're not supposed to bury your kids. But one of them killed himself at 62, I think he was.
Damn.
Something like that. 62 or 52. One of the twos. And then the other one died of like heart failure or something, like high cholesterol, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He died in his home here in the States. So listen, 83, I think she lived a great life.
That is a good life in a lot of years.
Yeah, she gave a lot to the people. She had her struggles. She learned from them. And I think it's not the downfall of people. I think the success and the admiration and the personal growth comes in your rise again. And I think she did that well.
Let me tell you, I learned a lot this weekend because we actually watched the Tina Turner musical. And I didn't know that she caught her second wind at like 40 something.
41.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, What's Love Got to Do with It was made when she was in her 40s. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Private Dancer was made in her 40s. You don't see stuff
That's
like
when
that
she
no
became
more.
bigger than ever. Really bigger than before.
I seen that and I had to.
And she was selling stadiums. So
and
it's not just
remember,
Beyonce.
Listen, we had that debate too, where I said that Tina Turner, she isn't like selling out stadiums or Beyonce and stuff like that.
And
then
I
Wonky
say, you
said,
stop right there. How
he
dare you?
showed me.
How dare you?
He showed me the videos of her in the stadium when she running across that little catwalk in the sky,
Up in the
and
high
hanging
sky,
over, and they don't do
singing
that
to
today.
the people.
Yo,
no, Beyonce sits in a horse and it has wiring and she's chained to the seat.
Tina Turner was in high heels running on a platform could not be more than 3 feet wide.
And let me remind you
killing
that when you're
shit.
up there and you saw all those, you got the flashing lights from the audience. That's flash photography. But the actual spotlight and lights that they throw on you from the high rises and the thrust and the stage manager calling booth up in the sky, you really see pitch black.
Babe, she was 40 something running in high heels on a platform probably 40 feet over humans.
Moving platform, by the way.
I was like,
swinging from left to right.
Let me tell you, I have gained so much respect for Tina Turner, and it's sad that her death is where I got it. I did not know she was that big.
And let me tell you, she was suffering with kidney failure, and
I think she had cancer.
She had cancer? At one point she had cancer, so she got through that, but she had kidney failure. Throughout her later life.
She was on dialysis.
She was on dialysis. She had her husband donated a kidney, so they completely removed a kidney and put another one in. So I mean, it's 83 years old. Let's celebrate her and enjoy her music. I've been a fan since even before she hit the Broadway scene with her musical, and then once that musical came about, I was completely sold.
I am definitely a newfound, deeper fan. Like, I listened to What's Love Got to Do with It in a couple of songs, but listening to the musical and these other songs came on that I didn't know she was the originator of. And I hear all these rappers with her on the hooks and stuff. Like, oh, that's Tina Turner. Like, so I feel a little stupid not knowing that she was like.
Don't say stupid. I think it's more of a generational thing.
I should say silly.
Yeah, I think it's a generational thing because she's way before your time, but way before my time. So,
but my mom listened to her though, and I just never did the research. That's what I should say. Like I never did the research. So all respect to Tina Turner.
It's because when your mama was playing them records on Saturday to clean the house, you were out running the streets. Had you stayed with your mama, you would have gotten a better
Don't
understanding.
Listen to this guy. I have never run the streets, and my mom didn't play records. She played cassette tapes.
Oh, okay. The 8-track.
My grandma.
Have you ever seen an 8-track?
Yes, because my dad had some 8 tracks.
Yeah.
I never heard, or I don't know how do you play them.
It was like a square box that you put in, like a VCR, but for like a car. My great grandmother used to have them. Yeah.
Yeah. So my grandmother had the records. She taught me how to use the record player. My father had the 8 tracks. My mom, she was into CDs, cassettes. So my family is really musically inclined, though.
Did you ever see a disc ROM?
A disc ROM?
ROM.
I don't know what that is.
That was the first generation of a floppy disk for a computer.
Oh, yes.
That was very thin and very...
Apple. I remember because the Macintosh.
Yes, Apple used to have... And they used to have to turn that thing.
Oh, my God. I cannot... And then they had to go down. And, all right,
back to today's show.
Yeah, let's get back to the show. So... what did we do? Over the weekend, we went out to this nice restaurant. We actually favored this restaurant, and they served some really good fish and seafood here. They sat us in the corner, and I'm going to let Wonky tell you the story about that man and that woman. Hit us with that, babe.
I believe his name was Tony Montana.
Tony.
Okay. In walks He looked like a gangster.
How was he dressed? Give us the attire.
Like an Italian that his shirt was open, his chest was out, a
The
big
top 3
medallion.
buttons
Yeah, top
open.
3 or 4 buttons open.
How old was he?
He must have been late 50s, maybe even 61.
Had the little beer belly.
Beer belly,
gold chain.
gold chains, more than one. With one of them had a medallion, and then he had like armrest stuff and rings and shit. And he walked in with what we have learned through because of the conversation was a prostitute. Okay. I think he must have done like a few lines before he left his house that day.
Hyped up.
And he's talking and it's sexualized, and the woman is, telling him how she doesn't appreciate how much he controls him, and he controls her, and how he told her what to wear. I'm having my conversation with my husband, and unfortunately, he's so loud that he carries.
Because you were like in earshot.
Yeah. And then the woman goes to get up to the bathroom and then comes back. And I decide to take a good look at her and see,
man.
I'm thinking this is going to be a 20-something-year-old, girl trying to pay the college debt, right? She too must have been 62. A baby doll dress.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is not even appropriate. And she has some wedges. Motherfucking wedges.
Not the
in
wedges?
that odor.
Oh, in that odor.
Okay? Shout out to Mama D. And her hair, she had her hair done, and then she had a little hand purse,
the little clutch.
The little clutch, she was holding it. And you would have thought the lady was walking the runways of Milan and she was selling the clutch, because when they walk the runways, they're only selling one piece. And it was the clutch. She thought she was giving it. Skin all leathery.
And you know how that
wrinkled,
look like
sagged,
burnt. Something.
You seriously having sexualized conversation in this restaurant?
Oh, it was when I caught him saying, don't worry, or you could just leave in the morning. Remember when he said that?
Oh, no, it got worse than that. Yeah, but it got worse than that. Mm-hmm. And then when she said, but your wife, I was like, he's married. He's married.
Everybody was just listening. The couple that sat right next to them could not even have a conversation.
And so let me tell you something. Often my husband, Incredible Hulk, gets on me because he feels that I'm a very quiet and reserved individual. I know. I know.
I do? I think you're that?
I know.
The lies we tell.
No, you do, because when often I don't like to have public conversation.
Oh, that part.
I don't like to. When I'm in public,
in the elevators.
No.
He doesn't like to speak.
If I'm in an elevator and somebody else is going to come into the elevator, I don't have conversation.
But the problem with that is that they don't even know what we're talking about.
But the problem with what you're saying is that given my history in life, the type of jobs that I've had, careers that I've been in, and I'm just very self-aware that you never know who's listening and for what purposes they're listening. So I'm already kind of like trained to just be quiet. It's just my train. Like, it's just, because let me tell you something. The worst thing for me is when I get into an enclosed space and I gotta hear somebody else's business. I don't care.
Then walk out.
I enjoy in an elevator. At some point, I'm going to, but in an elevator, on a train, on a bus, when I'm waiting at the doctor's office, like anything. I think that some things, especially people who speak on speaker, on their phones, on speaker.
I think that's ghetto. That's the foreigners that do that.
So when I'm going to go to a restaurant, and this is, part of it is also when I used to go out, and mingle and do brunches and stuff like that, I heard things, I saw things, and then things will get around the community. Oh, we saw Incredible Hulk and Juanqui. They were at that restaurant they always go to. Yeah, they didn't notice that I was in there, but Hulk was scolding him, and then he got up and walked away, and then they came back and just took the food to go. You know how people will run with that? You know how they will run with that? When it could be that because they don't see my face, they only see my back. I might have gotten a text message. I told you, there's some shit going down. We have to go. Let me go, P-Rock, get the check. I come back. I have a face because I have some shit going on that has nothing to do with my husband and me. But we have to go address. But now people think that our date went sour, and I storm out the restaurant. Yeah. You see how it goes.
I get where you can, think like that, but I just don't care. Like, I've never been in a circle full of these gays that are catty like that. Like
it's not about a circle of gays because
messy people.
But perfect example. This is the teachable moment here.
Teachable moment.
Perfect example. You're just talking about Tony Montana and the old prostitute.
Oh.
Right? And you're not one of those
different.
gays.
That's different,
It's the same concept.
No, it's not because we could be having a conversation about the next car we're going to buy, and then you just want to stop in the middle of the conversation because someone walks in the elevator. And I'm like, it's a car,
It's
man.
like I said, it's just how I'm built. I don't like that when I walk into an elevator or an enclosed space to walk into somebody's full-out conversation. Since I don't like it, I don't do it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that
can
I'm
see
the
that.
holier than thou and, I got the commandments here, the tablets next to me, but I try to just be a little more, have more self-awareness. Because I've been in so many situations where I got in people's tea by just being a fly on the wall.
So I can understand that because I haven't been in those situations. So I can understand how
I'm also older
you're
than you.
drawing from personal experience.
And I've been on Earth a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's just the type of environments that we both dwelled in were different. Differently. Whoa. Different. Or differently. Very much differently.
Yeah, well, my English is not very good looking.
Very good looking. Yeah, not today. Shit. I get what you're saying though, so I can understand that. But he was looking crazy and talking to her crazy and their sex capades.
He paid for
And I
that
was like-
puss. What you mean? I
was
paid
like,
for this.
I want you to dress like
Exactly.
this. If you
and he was cutting her off.
He didn't care.
But she didn't care either because she was willing to prostitute her time. You could tell she was a sugar baby or something.
She was talking about the money.
Yeah, she was talking about the money. Exactly.
And then we were having that conversation. So if I'm paying you for the evening, I don't want to hear you bring up the payment constantly the way she was bringing it up.
Maybe she didn't get it yet.
Oh yeah.
Maybe she didn't get it yet. And maybe this is a future podcast. There is a sort of thing where these men like to be used as what they call an ATM or a cash register.
Oh.
It's called financial abuse.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a type of relationship
That's
among
only
people.
financial,
and they feel good about being forced to hand over money to these prostitutes.
Oh, Lord.
I know the mental illness of it all.
I
know.
wish it. Give me your money. I'm like, but you better have a gun in your head when you say some shit to me like
Not
that.
even. I've already told you, and I'm telling my podcast right
here
now.
we go.
I'm
It's not
memorializing my
happening.
words on
That's
the
not
internet so that if something ever happens, the life insurances and the wills could be paid out. And yes, I said insurances because I have more than one. I've been working since I was 12 and been very smart about my monies and my future.
Oh, we just said F English right
Yes, we did.
We going straight to
and
the
we
gut,
does.
straight to the
And we
projects.
does.
And we does.
And we does. But my thing is I've always said, maybe I'm predicting my own future. Who knows? Listen, if it's my time to go, I'm ready to go. But if a MF tries to roll up on me at the bank, at the cashier, anywhere, while I'm walking down talk about hand over this, my first question is going to be, are you prepared to die for this right now? Because I am.
I can't.
I'm telling you, I am.
And I get
and
mad
we
when
are
you
going
say
to
that,
do it.
because I
And
think
I've
that's
always
so
said, make
stupid.
sure you check under my fingernails because before I take that last breath, I'ma scratch like a bitch and get that DNA right underneath, right in there, right in the cuticles. You're gonna find the pulp. You're gonna find the blood. You're gonna find the DNA. You're gonna have the epidermis.
Babe.
All of that.
I think it's so dumb to die over money.
Well,
I'm not ready to die
I
over
think
money.
I think
Material things
it's
don't mean
beyond
nothing to me.
disrespectful for a motherfucker that ain't did what I did in life to get where I'm at to think I'm just gonna motherfucking hand it.
No, I get it.
Over.
I used to think like that too, but then I could just get it again.
Well, let's say this.
Now that you're married, you can't think.
Well,
like
let's
that.
say this.
Okay.
There used to be a time in my life when I was 21, when I got my license, where I believed that if you cut me off and broke, like you ran a light, you cut me off, or something like that. There's something where I almost got into an accident, or I had the right to get out of my car and shoot you with my gun and get back in the car and drive away.
Yeah, see, that is that psychotic.
I
shit.
know, I believed that, and I was trying to articulate this in college conversations at times, and, because college.
You think that's self-defense?
Well, I felt like if you wronged me, I should be able to.
Oh, eye for an eye.
Take,
I mean, it's in the Bible.
I should be able to take my revenge and get up in my car and keep on driving.
Let me tell you.
And it took me maybe, mid-20s for me to change my status on that, my viewpoint on that.
Let
So
me tell
maybe
you,
at
but
some
if you would
point,
have ran into a person like me, I was worse than you because I remember this old lady cut me off on the highway and I drove in front of her and slammed on the brakes and she did a 360.
oh my God.
On the highway. I felt so bad.
And
for
did you know she was an old lady?
I'm sorry.
Did you know she was an old lady when you did it?
When I'm mad.
Or when she got out?
Did you see that last episode of me being mad?
No, we're not
I'm
gonna
just
talk
saying,
about
like,
that.
I don't, like, I remember even when I was little, I was at the McDonald's and this old white lady, and this is when you can get the supersized fries. I was at the counter, ordered my food. They put my fries on the tray. This old ass white lady came up and put her nasty hands in my French fries and she started chewing it in my face and I cursed her the fuck out. I had to be about 14.
I would have
I
pushed
cursed
her
her,
off
but
my
she was
food.
definitely like 90. And I feel bad now because I'm like, yo, she was an old lady. Like
I don't shit,
I
which
know,
means,
but I
bitch, you
respect
know
my
better.
elders now. Like,
you
well, I
know
always
better.
respect my elders, but I felt so bad.
No, old bitch could get it too.
But I've hit people for cutting me off. We got into fights over like some crazy dude. Just it's a lot.
It's
of
a
crazy
lot.
things. When I'm driving, just don't bother.
But so in conclusion for this part, I grew out of that ideology.
I'm trying to grow.
So maybe perhaps one day I will grow out of the ideology that if you think you're gonna roll up on me and take anything off me that I didn't willingly just give up because I didn't need it anymore or I was being charitable, we both are prepared to die. Period.
All right. I don't agree with that, but
It's okay, baby. I love you too. I'll be watching from the heavens.
hold on. Let me tell you something else. Let me give you a little bit more insight into our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So Wonky has all these life insurance policies. Now, you know, if you kill somebody, you cannot collect on a life insurance
Right.
policies, right?
Or
So
no.
I
If you kill yourself.
Okay. Oh, that's damn.
Yeah. If you commit suicide, your life policies are none.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Void.
But Wonky has this thing where I give him like a neck massage and I crack his neck, right? And this is the funniest thing. And I was like, you know, babe, I'm like literally like popping his neck like you see it on YouTube and shit like that.
And it feels
I was like,
amazing.
it
Oh my
feels,
God.
I get it. But you realize it was funny because we had just did the wills and we did our last will and testament and the insurance policies, everything was put into these nice places. And then he's like, oh, babe, can you crack my neck tonight? So I'm sitting there cracking his neck and I hear this big ass pop. And I was like, you know, if you was to die from this, they're gonna lock me up and think I did it for the money because we just finalized all of our paperwork. And every time I do that, I'm scared. Like, I ask him, I said, babe, can you still feel your
You still
toes?
feel your toes. And the thing is that when you do it, I often scream and just lay there.
Scares the shit out of me. He just freezes. And I'm like, I'm a big black man. And they're going to find this dead Hispanic boy, man, on his bed. And my name is on everything. I'm definitely going to jail for murder. And that's sad. But now you guys know. So you know that I did not kill my husband.
They're
I
listening
was
to the
giving him
master
a
plan, right?
massage.
They're listening to the master plan. Not only did he do it, he went on his podcast and talked about it.
And then he did it. Nah, I can't. Oh, I love you too much to kill you. So I would never do that, my love.
I
You're
hope
my
you
babe.
won't.
You're funny. He's trying to set me up right now. Don't listen to this.
And let me tell you, my Incredible Hulk is a big, to me, because boy, I have seen Incredible Hulk lose it.
I'm sorry.
I have seen Incredible Hulk not listen to me.
I'm sorry.
To the point where I don't even move anymore. I just sat there. The last incident that we had, that happened, that happened, without giving too much, because we put that to rest
felt
and we
bad
move
for
forward. I didn't give a fuck. But the last incident, I didn't even move off my seat. I was like, I tried to hold him back with one hand. And then next thing I know, I'm looking and things are happening. I'm being witness to things. I just sat there shaking my
Lawyers had to
head.
be called.
I just sat there shaking my head because I wasn't gonna get up. I'm like, okay, at some point he's gonna come back. Like I was like, and this is after a series of other events where I've tried to get in the middle. I try to hold back and hold one hand, one arm, because they're not even gonna handle a whole arm. And it's like, no, I'm not getting involved. I'm just, okay, let me know when you're done.
That was bad.
I was like, okay, I started dialing one of my lawyers. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was the last incident.
I literally
was an
started while the
eye-opener.
shit was going down. I started getting the lawyer's number.
Yeah, because that was bad.
But we're gonna
I don't
move
want
on
to talk
from
about
that.
it, but all I know is when we came back to the penthouse and I looked out the window, I was like, damn, I might lose all this shit right now. because I couldn't stop myself. Because people piss me off, and I don't like to be disrespected.
But you know what?
I'm a
The thing
nice
is, it's the thing
person.
is that the disrespect with that, and I just want to close out and move quickly from this. Was the reason for everything that went down to go have gone down? Absolutely. But you have to remember, you are black man that everybody believes when we travel. You are some quarterback. What is it? Offensive, aggressive, defensive.
Yeah, like I'm on the
just
old
send him
defensive
to
line.
run across all the lines and put that ball
Kill
through the
that
thing.
quarterback,
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's just the optics of it all.
It is.
Would you justify and everything that went down? Absolutely.
But
as
I
it
would
usually
literally-
is.
I would be guilty
I've never
till
been in a
proven
situation
innocent.
where you've been the problem.
Yeah, I'm
But
guilty
the
till
thing
proven
is that
innocent
your
all the time.
strength and your size and the whole nine, it just doesn't play well. Period.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. This is Gay Pride Month.
Yay!
Happy Gay Pride Month.
Hold on. Let me wave my. Can you hear that?
Probably fucking the mic up right now. We're gonna have to get a little video clip of you
That is
waving.
my pride flag. The one and only pride flag I've ever had, and the reason why I have this pride flag is that my job many moons ago, for the first time, was going to be walking in the parade, and they gave every staff member one of those. And I don't think you know this about me. I had to walk with my job.
At
In
the
Brooklyn,
Pride
at the
Parade?
Pride Parade in Brooklyn. And the reason why that happened was because my boss, and you see, when you're working and you're trying to move up the ladder and stuff like that, they were putting together a group, an affinity group, I think it's called. I don't know. It's some, corporate shit that they do to be able to say that everybody feels included. They had these groups of, they had these groups.
Round up the gays.
No, one of them was the gays, and one of them was black men. Another one was black women.
That feels racist.
Yeah, but I mean, another one was black women, and once a month, these groups would meet and just have conversation about
And
a
do
topic.
black gay shit?
They might have like a speaker to come in, and they might have professional development, that type of stuff.
Oh.
Sounds so great on paper, and that's what they want it to be. That
It
sounds
looks
great
crazy.
on paper.
It sounds crazy to
But
me.
so they were putting the gay group together, right? And they didn't call it the gay group, but my boss was like, executive management is doing this, and I really think you should go and represent our department. And I was like, I'm not really into it with that stuff. Or that, no, I really think you should be the one to represent.
Telling you without
Exactly.
telling
And
you.
I was like, okay. So I went in there because, I was trying to work up the ladder.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff, we got like community service credit for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate places do stuff with the community. And we walked the parade. So that flag was given to me for that event. So it is Pride Month.
I never, I always had an issue with Pride because I felt like it was about sexuality, not like, it was just overly sexualized. That's always been my problem with the gay community.
Well, you know what I'm gonna, and I might be able to insert some clips, maybe this one or because it's a whole month. The way that it goes down in New York City is, it's a whole month of June, and every weekend, like today, every Sunday in June, there's a different borough.
That's doing Pride.
Yeah, so I think I went to the one in Brooklyn. I canceled for the other ones because I was like, I'm not doing anything else. But I did. I got my credit. I held the banner. I took the picture for the company with everybody. They changed our logos to have the Pride logo for our logo, and it was great. And it was like the very first one. So I said I'll do the first one, and then I'll enjoy the rest of the month myself. It's interesting that you say that you feel like it was sexualized. When I went to Pride back when I was in college, I would totally say that yes, there were floats that had strippers, and a lot of the gay clubs would send their strippers in there and have a float from that particular club. A lot of corporate things. You have to understand, Pride in New York City has been known to draw 5 million people just for that weekend.
Wow.
I mean, it's like we take over. And it's a good feeling to see the buildings and the flags, and it's like the strays hide for that weekend. And it's nice and it's lovely. Is it sexualized? Well, if you're looking for sex and sexual activity, you can find it. You'll see those places. The interesting thing that I saw in the Pride in Brooklyn, the one that I walked with my job, is that New York City over the years has gotten stricter, and so they made new rules where they couldn't be exposed body parts on floats.
As it should be.
So like the strippers and the G-strings. Well, let me tell you, when I was back in college and I saw the float, because that was the first Pride I went to in college. One of my college friends was like, "Oh, we should do," and it was a she, and so she took a group of us to see it, and we stayed for like an hour or two, and I saw the floats, and I was like, "Oh, I want to be on one of them with my." I've always said this. I want to have some wings, a G-string, and some silver or gold Nikes, and just gyrate on a float, and go down Times Square all the way to the Village. With my abs and my little twink body, the whole nine, real worked out. I don't know. I felt like it will always feel great and nice to do something like that. And now some people might call that sexualized. So be it. The one in Brooklyn, it wasn't like that because they've changed the rules. So there were no like G-strings, no thongs. There were booty shorts and things like that, but there was no exposed skin. The thing that I noticed the most that I stuck out was the amount of families that were there. And I'm not just talking about like gay parents and a child, but actually straight people were there with their kids and strollers and just like along the parade line watching. And I remember saying to myself, "Oh, it has definitely changed to the point where I felt like it was acceptable for these families to be out here. I didn't feel like there's sex. There's even the drag queens that were there. It wasn't like, okay, this is crazy." And maybe we'll insert some videos because I still have footage of that year that I went. Okay. Maybe we'll insert some videos here. If you are catching us on the podcast, head over to our YouTube channel, what's our page?
At J&H Podcast.
Yes.
And YouTube.com /at
One more time.
Podcast.
One more time.
YouTube.com @ /J&H Podcast. I don't know.
You could just pull us up on the J&H podcast. Yes. And you might be able to see some video footage here. I'm gonna have to look it up in the archives. But so I felt like, okay, this wasn't that bad. The families were here for the Brooklyn one. Now I didn't go to any more after that. I don't know what it's looking like now. In the past, the one that I saw when I was back in college, where the rules had not changed. Could it be for families? Absolutely not. I didn't think it was an environment for families.
I didn't.
Because we went over there drunk, smoked up, pulled up, tucked back, whatever everybody was doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. I remember I had my hair out. I had my $378 Versace glasses I had just bought at the Sunglass Hut the week before. Okay, and I was giving it.
I think that it's, that's cute, but I guess I would consider myself more of a conservative gay, but not like in a political way, just as the way I carry myself. Because I always look down on other gays that did like that. I'm like, listen, they barely like us, and you out here with all this gay shit. Why do you have to have your penis out, your ass cheek showing, your chest is out? And then they all, when gays were being super stereotyped back then, and I never saw my type.
Well, here's the thing.
And I think that's maybe I was just a little taken back because I wasn't that type of gay, and I've never seen like the first concept of the type of gay I am was Omar from The Wire. I don't know if you've ever seen The Wire.
I've seen The Wire.
Omar was that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but I think, and this is the gay community and even just in society in general, we got all these labels, and I don't want us to put ourselves in a box where it's like the type that I am. I know that it's, and like I said, I'm older than you, and I've been on Earth a little longer and seen a couple different things, and I've grown. So I'm almost feel like this view of that you have is gonna change with life as you go through life and the journeys, and now the journey with me. But I think that, especially as somebody who hasn't experienced it, at some point you and I will venture out and see and experience some more, because I really do think that it has changed. It has grown. Now, I don't know what it looks like now with all this non-binary, I'm a spaceship, I'm an alien, I like the spirit, not the,
that's enough.
I was born with testosterone, but we're going to ignore that part.
Okay,
and
listen, no. Let's not. But what I'm saying is that I've grown to, see all spectrums of gays. I didn't like femme gays for a very long time because I felt like everybody was categorizing all gays as just that. So it bothered me. Now that I'm older, I don't really care. I don't care at all. Like, and I could be friends with anybody, and I'm very open to the gay experience in a non-sexual way. But I just still felt like, why do we, like, some people use gay as a personality when gay for me is just my sexuality. Like, that's just, I am a black man first that is gay. and some people are gay black men. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like they have to be extra loud, like wear all these fruity ass clothes that show every inch of everything, where you could see every strand of hair on their testicles, just not their testicles. And I look at that, I'm like, why do you want to present yourself as such? And I guess that's where I had to disconnect. I don't care now, but back then it was more like I just said, gay is not my personality, it's just my sexuality.
Right.
So, but I definitely want to go to a Pride. And speaking of, we might as well stay on track with all of this gay-ish. So, lately we've been having these discussions about these drag queens that are reading to children in the libraries. How do you feel
Tell me
about that?
what you know about that,
Well,
and then I'm gonna give you the history on that because I witnessed the inception of this.
Of this? All right, so let me show you. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you this clip.
Okay.
And I hope it doesn't mess with the recording, but I'm going to show you this clip.
Footage surfaced of a drag queen performing in front of infants. Yes, infants. The vision is so shocking that we have to heavily blur it. But these are grown adults in bondage gear or in G-strings, strutting around in front of tiny kids, infants, toddlers. The heavily sexualised drag shows is just the latest in a growing list of drag events being targeted towards children.
Okay. I've not seen that footage before. I think it's highly inappropriate. I don't know. And I'm surprised that there's such a large number of attendees in there. Where are the adults? The footage is a little blurry, so I can't see like an adult that who thought this was... I don't think this is appropriate. I think this is... Are we still recording?
Hold on, yeah, we're still recording. But hold on, for the people on the podcast who are just listening in audio format, basically it was this guy who was in bondage gear, what basically looked like he was supposed to go to a leather party, on I would say like a pole, stripper pole, and he was basically stripping in front of a room of children that were like kindergartners. And people, and there's people out here protesting saying that that's fine. And then you have the people saying that this is too much. And I think it's crazy that you are exposing children to this shit.
This is, I don't agree with any of that. And let me give you a little bit of background, because we've heard this issue come up recently about drag queens reading to children. Mm-hmm. So there's a very famous drag queen in the New York scene. Her name is Harmonica Sunbeam. Mm-hmm. Insert picture or clip of her now. Okay. And so Harmonica Sunbeam is legendary in the New York scene, and is always working. And she's older. She's an older queen, but she's been doing a lot. And as a matter of fact, I had a project with her that I never materialized, but I was in heavy finals discussions of shooting a project with her. I'm not gonna get it too much into because you never know in the future this might come back up. But she was when I heard about drag queens reading to children, she was one of the originals that started that project. That project involved her going to a public library in New York City, and I think some in New Jersey, and she would have story time. The stories that she would read were age appropriate, children's stories for a child audience. And then they saw her all dressed, and she was reading. And through the eyes of the kid, you can tell that they probably thought this was a clown,
My asshole.
There was a clown. Yeah, this was a clown, but this was heavily praised in the New York Times. They wrote articles about it. It was in the news, and then it expanded. It went from New York to Miami and other major cities, and this became a thing. Okay. How did I feel about it? At that point, because the material that she was doing was age appropriate, like I said, I would think they probably think it's just a clown, and her her drag queen persona is always a hot pink, way over the top. It really is like a clown. It's a caricature of a woman, pretty much.
So I can see how they would think it was a clown, and she was probably there to throw in the little jokes for the adults, like how these cartoon like Shrek movies are for kids, but we understand jokes the kids don't. But how was her outfits though?
The clown.
So it wasn't where her titties were out.
No, absolutely not.
And all the shit that they're doing now.
No. And you know, we might be able to insert some images here, or maybe on our shorts on our YouTube page. Follow us on our YouTube page because we give you the extras there.
Yeah.
So I'll find you some clips and stuff like that. I personally didn't feel anything wrong with it at that level and at that time. What I think is that stuff like that has exploded in combination with this whole binary, non-binary, and to the point, and it hasn't been like vetted properly or assessed properly, and it's just kind of like a wild west.
So they're just letting
now.
Everything go, and anybody do everything.
I don't even know that she's still even doing it to this point, because I could see how she might feel like something that was nice and proper and
has been destroyed
and age appropriate has become something toxic and crazy and confusing for young people.
Exactly.
I don't think this type of this drag queen performing for kids and all that.
I don't think
is okay.
I don't think it's okay.
In bondage with ropes from the ceiling, it's not.
It's not.
It looks like he's doing gymnastics in a leather outfit.
For kids, and that's some sick shit, because if you do that right outside in public, you're gonna go to jail for endangering the welfare of a child.
And the thing is, like
that.
what images is the kid leaving this place with to then have to sort out on their own?
Exactly. So, and that's gonna lead me into this next clip that I want you to listen to, and then tell me what you think about this. So this is the Florida quote unquote "Don't Say Gay" bill. All right.
Okay.
Florida's Board of Education agreed to ban classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in all grades except for health class.
Show the amendment approves.
The original legislation last year, called the Parental Rights in Education Law, affected only kindergarten through third grade.
So they pushed this narrative that Ron DeSantis, I don't like him, but he passed this bill that says you can't say gay anywhere in Florida. You're gonna go to jail. This and this and that and that. That wasn't the name of the bill, but they made
that's
me believe
what the
that
media
was
dubbed it.
The media made it that, and that's what I thought it was. And I was going hard, like, this is crazy. This is discrimination. But that bill originally only made it so you cannot talk about gender and sexuality to children in grades K through third. And they act like that was like the end of the world. Now he's trying to make it so that you can't talk about it K through 12 except in health class. And I'm like, wasn't that how it always was when we were younger?
No.
I've only heard about sex in health class, sex education.
No. And I have first-hand experience with this. And then I'll give you my opinion on what I think about it, right? Mm-hmm. So, health class, based on what you just said, again, I haven't really looked at this, the proposal or anything like that, the write-up. It sounds like then a freshman, sophomore, junior, right? And even what's the one? A senior in middle school that's going to be a freshman, right? Mm-hmm. So we can have sexuality conversations. I remember when I was in school, my sexuality class came when I was like 8 years old. And one of the tours that I did, I worked for a while, and I worked under the health resources for young people. Mm-hmm. And we did a tour with a specific health arts and education show that was about sexual health, teen pregnancy prevention, and like domestic abuse in relationship and stuff like that. And that tour played for freshmen to high school. Mm-hmm. Then I got with another company at some point that was part of a hospital, Mount Sinai Hospital, and they had their own unit that went out to the community, and we did shows that were age appropriate. The thing here is age appropriate. Mm-hmm. We did shows for age appropriate for as early as first graders.
Okay, but now
and from first grade all the way to, we had a college show. In the elementary setting, mm-hmm. our show was tailored. And mind you, this was a sexual health group, right? Mm-hmm. Project. In elementary school, it revolved more about bullying prevention, bullying prevention.
No spots, probably.
Right? Huh?
Your no spots, like nobody's supposed to touch you.
Bullying. Nobody's supposed to touch you in certain spots. If you're feeling uncomfortable, tell an adult. Mm-hmm. And as social media became more prevalent, texting.
So let me ask you this question. Did you tell them that because you're a boy, you can be a girl?
No, but
So
this is what I'm saying.
okay.
Age-appropriate material is the key part here. And so, in with Ron D. Satan, view is you can't talk about it at all in any until it's health class. So you mean to tell me that if this particular school has health class designated for your 11th grade, then we can, that's what he said.
Well, that's what they said, but health classes start in like junior high.
But it has
like
to be
6th,
age
7th, 8th.
appropriate.
But what I'm saying is this, I'm pretty sure they teach you don't let strangers touch you, yada, yada, yada. What I'm saying is that why my math teacher, my history teacher, my science teacher, they don't need to be teaching me about I can be a girl today and a boy tomorrow.
No, they don't
so
need to.
That's
they don't
what
need
this
to,
is about.
No, that's fine. They don't need to be teaching you about sexual roles. However, when they're teaching history, sexual roles definitely comes into play.
But
when
not trans?
No, I don't know because I didn't. You know, I went to different types of schools.
Okay, well,
but
I went to regular public school and they said, I heard nothing about trans people. I heard nothing about non-binary people.
Well, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. You know, your best type of classes, just for me, the best type of classes are the classes where the teacher is really facilitating discussion among the students and guiding the conversation and also throwing in facts, but guiding and seeing their point of view, giving examples and see, you know, how their point of view change, right? Mm-hmm. If they were talking about, let's say, military and armies and things like that, I can see how don't ask, don't tell policy will come into conversation. At that point, we're now talking about sexuality.
Not as deep as these people.
Well, what do you think I learned about don't ask, don't tell?
Well, don't ask,
I learned
don't tell
about
is
it
that
in
whatever
school.
you choose to have sex with or your orientation
I'm not
is
asking
neutral.
what it is.
Like,
I'm
they don't
asking.
care.
I'm saying, where do you think I heard from?
No,
it?
I get it. But what I'm saying is that they are trying to teach kids early. There are books in elementary schools right now that are teaching kids how to have anal sex. They're teaching kids how to douche themselves. They're teaching kids that they can be boys or girls. These books, these classes are fucking kids up. Did someone have to come to you and say, Wonky, this is how you know if you're gay? Did someone have to tell you were gay, or did you just know? Because I was 8 years old when I knew I was gay. No one told me.
Well,
I found out by myself.
Here's the thing.
And most gay people find out by themselves. We don't need an adult, a grown-ass, fully developed adult telling us what we are. We tell people what they are.
Well, here's the thing. Again, I went to, they like to call it the best educational system and the largest in the entire country, New York City public schools, right? Did I know I was gay at a certain point? Obviously, we all go through that journey. However, my school had resources for teenagers, right? This is now high school I'm talking about. And as a freshman, I was seeing my counselor.
Exactly.
It was called the Spark Counselor. The Spark Counselor is not a health professional in the school. It's literally, I would take a period, or they would schedule it for my lunch breaks once a week or whatever, and I would go and that's when I would talk about sexuality.
Exactly.
Right? And then in that, we have workshops, not just me, they ran workshops with classes and stuff like that. So I think we have to just be careful that we're not covering everything in huge blanket statements. I know, look who's talking. But because when you just said there's books that teach children in schools how to douche. I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm just saying, and my jaw drops when I hear that. I need to be able to see that.
Okay, I can.
That's a thing.
You know
because
what it is?
If that's the thing, my first thing is gonna be, who would allow something like that? That is not age appropriate. Well, who are these people?
I'm going
who put
to
these
actually
people in
show
place,
you. I've seen,
and who continues to keep these people in place? Because clearly they're not operating with the best of judgment.
When I was on YouTube and I was looking through shorts and stuff like that, and they have these political clips of people at their city council meetings, and there was this little boy who was about 11 years old that got up there and started reading a book that he found in his school library about gay sex and anal sex. And there are a lot of videos like this of parents reading these books that they found, and even the one lady who got sued by the school system because she wanted to know what they were teaching their children and they didn't want to tell her, so they actually sued her to stop her from asking about the curriculum. Like, this is the stuff that I've seen out here. Like, I'm not just making this up. Like, I've seen it at city council meetings. So I'll find some and I'll insert them in here too.
I think, and I also think that parents need to be also more mindful, and I get it. People are working extremely hard. We're about to be in a recession again, or we have been in a recession. You know, people are working triple jobs and the whole nine. You had children. You had a child. My mom had children, but my mom went to the PTAs. My mom, and I remember, you know, this to me, a lot of these things are foreign. Not because, you foreign or no. I was actually raised in New York City, born and raised in New York City. But I remember my mom, in school, they will actually do the first day of class or whatever. Parents can come in, look at your classroom.
Yep,
and they actually lined up all the books on the board. Because many times we could get our own books on our own. Yeah. So we will grab that IBM number and then we will purchase our own books to get them faster or to whatever. So the teachers will have lined up, these are the 12 books that we're going to read this year. You know, and I know they do that too in private schools. Because I've experienced it. I've seen it. My mom and I coming home, or my sisters, with a list of all the supplies and what books we may need.
I get it. So that was a different world.
No, but my question is, could it be? Because we've seen people scaling walls that we never thought were going to be scaled on January 6th because they could not understand that we were tired and done with the Trump era.
Yeah.
Okay. Could this be a movement of people placing these type of inappropriate books in settings? Because let me tell you something.
You know what?
I would have put anything put past these people, but to believe that a whole board that's public would allow books that are not age appropriate about anal sex in an elementary school.
100%.
I find that very I need to see it.
I'm going to show you. I'm going to blow your mind.
It's really hard for me to believe.
All right, so this is another hearing, right? Well, first of all, I want to say this. I think that when you have people out here telling little kids that they can be men, boys or girls, I think that that's confusing as fuck.
Absolutely.
I think that when these parents are advocating for puberty blockers to stop their child from going through puberty to transition, I think that's child abuse. I think a child, listen, let me tell you this. A child cannot consent to sex.
Right.
A child cannot buy liquor, smoke, cannot go to the military, cannot even get a job, can't drive a car. A child can't do anything, but you are going to let them tell you that they are now a girl and not a boy. You are going to let them tell you that they want to make their body not go through puberty, knowing that a brain isn't fully developed until their mid-20s. And you're allowing these children that can't do anything else tell you to stop me from growing boobies or stop me from, growing, my testicles and my penis and stuff. There's no turning back from that. Once you do that, the child is messed up for
it's
life.
really gonna fuck them up. I get it.
That's my stance on that. I just don't think that that's appropriate.
It's not appropriate.
Save it for the parents. Counseling, therapy. Teachers shouldn't be teaching. I wouldn't want, if my child came to me and said, "Daddy, I was non-binary" or whatever. That's a conversation for us. I don't want a teacher of any sort teaching my children about their body in that manner. Teach them about safe sex, because safe sex is a general thing. Condoms is good for anal, straights.
Also, in another part, I think I remember seeing a flash clip. I don't know, I might be talking out of context on this one, but I remember that also in that bill, somewhere in that bill is lumped up that if the teacher sees that the child may be gay or having some questions with the sexuality, they're supposed to call the parent and tell them.
I don't like that.
Which is like outing them.
Yes.
So, there's a lot wrapped up in this whole thing.
There is.
And you also have to remember, this is being looked at under the bifocals / glasses of a person, the Satan, who also pushed to eliminate all Black history, all of that. So, we also have to be, and that's a whole other topic that we can leave for another podcast, because I want to give it its due justice and give it its due time.
Black history.
Right?
Next
but,
podcast.
But you understand what I'm saying, right?
I get it.
We have to try to measure things on an equal playing field.
Okay.
And no, sexuality is not, I'm not comparing sexuality to, Black history. I'm not.
Oh, no, we're not. We're going to get into this. They do it, though. These gays, they do it.
The concept of what they're trying to do, we should have some type of marker by which we judge all.
I think children should be off limits.
Absolutely.
And that's apparent.
And I think things should always be age appropriate. Down to, you remember that prostitute in that restaurant with that baby doll outfit at 61? That was not age appropriate.
No.
On that note, we can move on.
All right. That was definitely not age appropriate. All right, the last video that I want to show you, it still has something to do with, transgender, being allowed to play in
you're
sports.
just giving it to me today,
I'm just giving it. Listen to this, though.
And how have I behaved?
We'll
have
see
I
after
grown,
this clip.
baby?
After this clip. This is a funny clip, but it's a real clip of how these, I would say, these left-wing people think that are trying to pass
Give
laws.
it to me, Hulk.
Let's go.
Should Mike Tyson, have you heard of him?
Yes, I have.
If he identifies as a female, should he be allowed to enter a boxing match with a biological female?
Well, the short answer is yes, somebody who is trans.
Okay.
After 20 fights, I was undefeated. Only one fighter stood between me and the belt.
You got this chick, she's nothing.
Tiffany Stone!
You think that's fair to see that shit?
It's good to see her working still, but she's still doing comedy.
Babe,
but
they want Mike Tyson to die. I heard on the radio, they was like, somebody was like, LeBron James need to just transition into a woman and dunk on every bitch in the WNBA. I was like, this is crazy. They're mad that they won't allow men to transition into women and play in women's sports. There's a person in Connecticut right now who was the fastest woman in Connecticut, and I believe it's NCAA, and in track or whatever. A guy transitioned and beat her, and now she's suing them.
Duh.
And I'm like, how do you think that that's okay?
Yeah,
you're gonna let a man who has developed into a man fully. The only way to actually make it an even playing field is if you do the puberty blockers in a boy before he hits puberty, and then he will not develop the characteristics.
You already know
of
my
a man.
answer to this question.
So how can you, imagine me boxing a woman?
You already know my answer to this question.
No, hit it. Do you think that that's appropriate for a trans person to a man that transitions into a woman to be in a woman's locker room playing women's sports?
Why are you doing this to me? Why? I have turned another leaf. I have turned the page. We started a new chapter. I become better with myself. I meditated. I spoke to Jesus and everything. And you bring me to this.
Listen,
at the end of the show, you bring me to this right here.
Yes. Would you want Mike Tyson to fight your mother?
No. No, what I would like is a moment of honesty with us. And I'm going to be 100%
So this
honest.
is, and this is going to be what we call the wonky view.
Oh.
So
you gave me a view?
This is your view. And this is how we're going to do it right now. So you have the floor, my
I feel
love.
so much pressure to be, so
the
proper
question
and
is,
the
question is, do you think that it is okay for a trans person to play in the sport that they transitioned into, i.e. a man transitions into a woman and now this person is allowed to box women, swim against women, run against women, wrestle women?
Let me tell you what I think. This is the wonky view.
And why?
So this is the thing, and I've gone back and forth with my views. I understand that the trans people are part of my community because we accept everybody. Let me paint the picture for you. You can be a male, born a male, taken as many chemicals as they gave you, gone down to Mexico and removed your testicles and your penis and had it folded up into a labia and a hole. Come back, get plastic titties up in you, do the hair, everything, and want people to call you a female. At the end of the motherfucking day, you are still a goddamn male. I might give you the professional courtesy and show you that I've grown as an individual and I'm getting older and getting closer to get casket ready by calling you she. But we understand that if I have to take a droplet of that goddamn blood, chemicals and all, is going to say that at your molecular level, you are a male, okay? I can dress up as a falcon, go up to the sky, go up to the Empire State Building, and believe, wish, hope, and grant that I can fly to the next building.
And what will gravity do?
Teach me the realness of it all and suck me up and I'll be just matter on the floor.
Oh, man.
If you are a woman, produce a motherfucking child. If you are a woman, where is the blood and the period?
Okay, they say that, not all
Where's
women
the
can
period?
produce children.
No, they absolutely on that. You're not a female. You don't have the chemistry at the molecular level. No matter how many blockers they put up in you, no matter what therapy you got. So in conclusion, coming back to the original question, abso-fucking-lutely not. If we want to have a separate, not generation, what do they call that? League or?
Separate league.
For transgender people, by all means, so be it. Do it. Heck, create a whole sport arena, about transgender or that caters to the transgender experience. But to put a female up next to a man who now wants to consider himself a female, and like I said, he could go to Mexico and dig it all up, sew it up, tighten it up, and the whole nine. It's not fair. It will never be fair, and it's not a sensitivity thing. It's not a social issue. It's none of that. It's at the molecular level. You're not the same. Period. And the people who go along with this bullshit, and I'm calling it bullshit, are just making it worse. Because what's happening is people who are relatively open-minded are seeing and I'm going to call it this, the injustice of this, and are now starting to be less open-minded, less available to have a conversation, and less open to see what the other side looks like.
Because you either agree or you
disagree.
Shut up. No,
exactly.
Now it's either you agree with us or you are a transphobic bigot, and we're not allowed to have.
And let me tell you something. I've been called transphobic many a times by one particular transgender on YouTube.
Keep going, but skip that.
But what I'm going to say is, I ain't never been afraid of them. God damn, motherfucking.
Listen, no. Let me tell you this.
No, because
let me.
What's a phobia, baby? What's a phobia?
I know. Listen. I have to put my hand over his mouth because he is trying to get us kicked off of iHeart ASAP. I have no issue with trans people, babe. I have no issues with trans people. The issue comes when you.
I don't like that right there.
Listen, babe. I'm gonna have to bleep that now. Listen, stop. I have no issues. We have no issues with trans people. I feel like they have an issue with people who are not trans, and they want to invade sports and make people feel uncomfortable. And I don't think that we should make people feel uncomfortable to make another group of people feel comfortable. And they try to compare it to civil rights. They try to compare it to segregation, but it's a complete difference. We were segregated by skin color, and that's it. There was no other reason. We black men weren't trying to go into white women bathrooms because they would have probably dragged them from the back of a car. They would have fucked us up. But what I'm saying is that it's not fair, it's not right, and I don't want a big ass man like me going into the bathroom with my niece because he identifies as a woman now. And it's just not, and it's not fair. You can be who you want to be, but you don't have the right to take any rights away from other people. But baby,
you can't be who you want to be.
Well, this is America. You can be trans if you want, but you can't sit up like you can be a chicken if you want to be a chicken. Me personally, you could be racist. I don't care, but you cannot do shit that will affect me.
Me, exactly, and how I want to be.
Exactly.
Or how I want to. My thing is like, I respect the transgender experience. I respect it. But don't infringe your views on me.
That's the one. That's like Republicans. I don't like that.
Don't make me have to do things to make you feel better.
Exactly.
Understand that as a human being, just like I get on the elevator and I try not to have my own personal conversations because I don't want to annoy somebody else, because it annoys the fuck out of me when that happens to me. Mm-hmm. Understand that I will give you the respect, unless you and I have beef and it's to the dirt. But other than that, I will give you your respect and the whole nine. I'm not going to live in this fairy tale where just because you have a costume on, I'm going to.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, Hawk, take us out. Yes, we can be found on all major streaming platforms. Anywhere you get your podcast, you can find us.
Or you can stream us at www.jnhpodcast.com. There you will find a player and you can stream us right off our website.
Hey.